Hi, I'm Jay.
I'm Mike.
And today we're doing another retro Playbytes.
Retro Gaming Memories.
Yeah.
Part 3.
So if you've missed the last two, go to our channel. Every day we've uploaded a new video at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you've not been watching our show, you're missing out. So subscribe, like this video. It helps us out. So if you haven't been tuning in, please go watch part 1 and part 2. It's going to let you know because we're
going through gaming history.
So right now we're up to the Super Nintendo, and then we're going to talk about the Genesis probably a little bit. Then we're going to keep going. So
today we're playing Starfox for the Super Nintendo. For the kids who don't know, and the thing with Starfox is it used the FX chip, which was insane. Yeah. And this was like cutting edge when it came out. Like this was supposed to be like the first true 3D game.
This was
on the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
Right? And then at the same time, Sega had its Virtual Racer and Virtual Fighter.
So what happened was,
which was kind of the same graphics.
Yeah, actually,
like it was these polygon flat.
It got pretty close. So what happened was, the future was starting to come.
Yeah. Robots are about to take over the Earth.
Yeah, so basically both companies were like, oh shit, we need to incorporate real true 3D elements to the games, not just 8-bit, Super Mario. So this was truly the first, FX chipped game.
Yeah.
So Nintendo really went out of their way to make sure that everyone knew that
look at this. I mean, you could say, yeah, it's sort of 3D. It's like a cheat, isn't it? It's like 2.5D.
I don't know what they did.
I don't know what's going on. It's not 3D though. Looking back at it,
but it is.
But it is.
It's like it's a cross between 3D with 2D sprites.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But look at that.
It's so weird. But I remember when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is the best. This is how gaming's gonna look like for years."
No, I totally understand what you're saying there, but.
You raised some good points, Jay.
You raised some good points, but no, I definitely agree with you. This game here, when I first played it, same thing as you.
Like, look, there's like these cool lighting effects happening too.
I can't even describe.
It's so weird playing this now.
Well, look at how bad it is.
I know.
But remember back then, it was like state of the art.
Yeah. It's like
it's hard to explain to this generation that's playing these Call of Duties and Halo 4. What it was like to be a kid.
And see, with Mario, our last episode, we knew exactly what we're doing. We knew where all the tricks are. I have no idea what I'm doing in this one.
Yeah, do you remember playing this much?
I do, but I don't remember anything.
See, I remember renting this, and I actually rented this from Microplay. It's a store in Barrie, Ontario.
How do you do a barrel roll?
I think you double-click. I don't think you can even do them in this one.
Yeah, you can. There it is.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So what am I talking about? Do a barrel roll.
Because, Super Nintendo had the shoulder buttons.
Yeah. So, I remember going in there one day, and behind the counter, lo and behold, Starfox, Super Nintendo. Blew my mind. And the guy was like, listen to this. It's got the FX chip built into the cartridge. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's a chip that allows you to play 3D games on the Super Nintendo. I went like, ooh, almost died on the spot.
And I'm trying to think of what movies came out around this time that would have 3D elements in it. Like, I can't even remember. I can't remember, man.
I can't either. Going back in time, I mean,
Tron was already out, but I wouldn't call that 3D. That was just, they used some cool lighting effects, but
yeah. Like, what's that guy doing?
I don't know.
Bringing something over there?
But like, they have like this to me now it looks like it's like this GIF that's like way in the background that represents the mountains.
Yeah. I remember playing this so much that.
Know what I played the shit out of though was the 64 version, but that's another story.
Well, that's coming.
Yeah.
So at the same time when this came out, there was Virtual Fighter, which was in the arcades first, then on the Genesis, and Virtual Racer.
Yeah.
That virtual racing game, I played the shit out of, and I'll be honest, that's the game that actually got me good at racing games on console.
That's a lie.
Swear to God. I played the hell out of it.
What about Mario Kart? What about F-Zero?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about, well, hang on a second. I got good because that game I considered to be a simulator back then.
Virtual Racer.
Yeah, it was like you play that.
I thought you meant Mario Kart. I thought you lost your freaking mind.
No, you would play
Boss
that,
battle.
and it was like.
What do I hit? The red blinking.
Yeah, obviously. it was like a true racing game. It felt like it was the first time I played a racing game, and was like, oh my god. And Daytona, remember that one? That was later down the line, but I played the hell out of that game, so much so that I got so good at racing games that when I first played F-Zero for the SNES, I was instantly hooked on it. But not only, hooked on it, I actually was good at it. And I went into tournaments in Canada, and I actually came in second place overall in Canada. And did you hear me?
Second place in Canada.
Sorry?
Second place in Canada.
Yes.
But you gotta. I'm sorry. I'm not. The reason why I'm not surprised because I heard the story
a million
so
times.
many times.
So yes, I am a Nintendo champion.
Yes.
And I
were.
No, hang on. I still am.
Were.
And then to go in the future a little bit, when it came out for the GameCube, I actually was in second place yet again. I can't get that first place, and the guy who beat me, literally 3 milliseconds.
Billy Meyer. I mean, not Billy Meyer. That's a UFO guy. Billy Mitchell.
Billy Meyer comes in with a
one arm. I'm gonna beat you, boy.
He comes in with a
slinky,
a piano wire, kills you, kills you. You fucking ugly fuck.
Oh wow.
You mutant. So, looking back, I had some of the best times playing that because I actually would train. My mom would be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "Getting ready for the tournament."
Wasting my life.
Yeah. And she'd be like, "Oh, good."
Yeah. So you had a Super Nintendo growing up.
No, I had a Nintendo. I had a Super Nintendo.
No, we're on Super Nintendo. I had a Sega. I didn't have a Super Nintendo. My friends had Super Nintendo.
My friend upstairs had a Genesis, but what?
Upstairs, like there?
Oh, yeah, right. I didn't get the Genesis until I traded my Super Nintendo for one.
Oh.
Because what happened was I beat the shit out of like R-Type, Link to the Past, this game obviously, Super Mario World, beat Inside Out. I know where every secret is in that game.
Had an itchy nose.
Yeah. Obviously Donkey Kong Country was a huge success back then.
Also visually a big game changer.
Well, you know why? Because it was pre-rendered 3D sprites, but they did a really good job of rendering them into the animation.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was actual 3D. It was like
looked like clay moving around.
Yeah, I remember getting that game and thinking, this is the best looking game I've ever played. And every time we play a new game, that's what we would say.
Well, yeah, just like now, right?
So what happened was, I played this game.
Like when we played Max Payne 3 the other night.
Oh yeah, you gonna review that?
Yeah, if I ever get to it.
Yeah, actually, for instance, we were playing Max Payne 3 and I looked at Michael in the eyes and I said, this game really looks good.
It's seamless, you said.
And I said something on the lines of, does it look as good as Uncharted 2? And you said, oh God, it might.
Yeah.
And I know maybe some of you guys will get angry at that statement, but it's starting to get there.
Yeah.
They're coming up from behind.
Ooh.
They're pulling the pants
Crash
down.
And burn. You want to try?
Nope.
Okay.
They're pulling the pants down. They're gonna get in there soon.
Yeah, anal.
You know what's always exciting was?
Sex?
Yes, but at the end of a life cycle of a system,
yeah,
you'd always get a little hint at what was coming because at the end of at the end of development, they've been developing it for 5, 6, 7 years, games on it, so they know how to use the power of the system.
Yeah.
So games naturally...
That's relevant now.
Yes, exactly. Games naturally get better as the system gets older.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when this system was starting to get old, the games that they were releasing just before the... What was next? GameCube.
N64.
Yeah, what am I talking about? GameCube. Jesus Christ. So, I remember playing the Super Nintendo, and things just were so interesting because you had the Sega Genesis battling out with the Super Nintendo, and it was like, what is Sony going to do? Now, in your eyes, who is winning for you?
I loved, I think you meant Sega there, didn't you? It says Sony, but I love Sega Genesis because I had a Sega Genesis. I liked the controller more.
Now here's a good question.
It was more of an adult theme to it, even though looking back on it, probably not. You just had blood in Mortal Kombat, but...
Here's a good question.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you play it on yours?
Yeah, of course.
Because there's a huge difference between your version and mine.
Yes, yes.
Green blood.
Yeah, green blood, and I red
blood.
And more gore.
I want to see if you can remember the day you got the Super Nintendo.
I didn't get the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
My friend had it.
What can you remember the day you got the Genesis and why you picked the Genesis over? Was it because of Sonic?
No, it wasn't because of Sonic. It was because I liked the controller, and I knew that there's blood on Mortal Kombat, and I remember just playing it when I first saw the NHL games.
Oh, okay. So yes.
But you could play the NHL on Super Nintendo, but I just liked it. I just liked the controller.
Here's a little side note.
Yeah.
Andrew, the guy that does the voice for EA Sports,
yes.
you know EA Sports, it's in the game. You've met him.
Yeah.
You've met him at work.
Andrew Anthony.
Yeah, you've met him at work.
Mm-hmm.
Was it weird for you because you used to play games from back then?
Yeah.
And then you heard him do it, and you were like, oh.
It was very strange. I didn't ask him to do it, though. But just hear it, because I didn't want to, like... But, like, you could just... and he doesn't talk like that. But he, like, once in a while, he'll bring that voice out. It's game over, baby. What was the question?
If you remember why you got the Genesis, so you got it because like
okay.
Yeah, well, I went on the EA rampage there, so it's because of the blood. Can I ask you this one?
Yeah.
Violence in video games, did that help?
Yes.
The systems back then, because when you saw that game, you wanted it because it was so violent, not because it was, you know, a good story or anything. Did you buy into that?
Yeah.
So you bought into the violence?
Yeah, because at that time, yes, story was important, but at that time, there was large room of improvement for graphics.
Yes.
Now it's like it's gotten to the point where things are getting photorealistic, and it's like you can make little small improvements, but like we don't need this giant leap now. Like I think between this generation, like 360, PS3, Wii, and the next generation that's coming up, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a huge graphical leap. Like I could be like shitting all over my face and like I'm gonna look like an idiot saying that, but I think if you look back in history, like the big leaps between consoles, like from this Super Nintendo to 64 to GameCube to Wii, it's like it's not going to be as dramatic, I think.
I don't know about that because
I know, like, Unreal's coming with, like, an engine now saying, like, oh, it's 10 times more powerful.
Well, the thing is, back then, they didn't have enough memory. And what memory really was for back in the day was to display more on the screen at once.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when the PS2 came out, they could make games like Grand Theft Auto 3 because there was enough memory in the system to do that.
But now it's time.
Now, yeah, exactly.
There's not enough time.
Now there's not enough time to make a game.
It's not worth it for the developers to do that.
Exactly. So I think we're going to come to sort of like a, you know, maybe the gameplay will get better.
Or catch up.
Who knows what's going to happen.
Because the graphics have just leaped, and then, you know, we've been playing a lot of the franchises, we've been doing the same shit over and over again. So with better graphics.
Yeah, basically. If you think about games back then versus now, do you feel that like more games coming out are just like throw in the trash bin games? Like you play it and go, ugh. When I played the new Mortal Kombat, didn't it bring you back to when you first played Mortal Kombat?
I think
it did, right?
No, it did, but we got to remember there was a lot of shit games back then too.
Yeah, but
there's a lot.
This is the difference.
What?
Here's the difference. Back then, when we had a shit game in our hands, say Dark Void came out then, we were stuck playing the freaking game.
That is true.
There's a huge difference here because if a kid goes to the internet and goes Dark Void shit, he's not buying it.
No.
Most kids do research now. We didn't have the opportunity to do research, and that's why I think it was just a totally different time in video games.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying nowadays, do you think kids are spoiled because of that?
I wouldn't say spoiled. It's just
a new generation.
It's a different ball game, right?
So, do you think we look at the games differently? And is that why we started a review show? Because we look at them in the same regards we look at the classic games?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I think when I review a game, I try to look at all the good in it and bring that out. But I also have to mention the bad part in reviews. Look at these. It's like
what's the point of this?
Washington Memorial Monument.
Yeah, just knock them down.
Just knock them down. There's a duck. Took my robot. It's a good game.
So, other than this game, can you think of some games off the top of your head that you actually owned and played religiously? I'll say one now. You make fun of me. Aladdin for the Super Nintendo.
I'm gonna make fun of you.
Lion King.
We talked to Jasmine lately.
But I remember getting that, and it was a good game.
Yeah, well, on Sega Genesis, I played the crap out of all the NHLs.
Me too.
Soccer, FIFA. I played a lot of FIFA.
I hated it. I played hockey like a madman. Here's a little trick we used to do. We used to play so much.
Imagine if you just like jumped over and kissed me. Here's a little trick we used to do.
No, what we used to do is we used to break the controllers from playing so much that we would go and buy a brand new one from Zellers. Go home, switch the controllers out, put the brand new one on my bed, put the broken one back in, and go back and go, we just bought this, it doesn't work.
You
assholes. Then we get another one, and we'd have 2 brand new ones for the price of one.
You did
Brilliant assholes.
You did it.
There's so many good memories I have playing these systems.
What about now?
Do you have memories?
Yeah, I have memories.
Okay, what are some of your good memories just recently? Like, what's a memory that stands out in a video game where you think about it every once in a while and go, that was a fun
Oh, you
moment.
mean like in gaming now?
Yeah, like versus back then, because this was a new thing.
Well, it's just,
and keep in mind, we were forced to play these games because there was nothing else.
Well, I think now it's like, I remember like the last level in Mass Effect 2, right? I remember how epic that was, and like everything that you were working towards was like all your characters were dying, or they are living, and this epic music's playing, or just like now I was playing Batman Arkham City, the Harley Quinn DLC, Harley Quinn's Revenge, and like just how cinematic it was. Harley Quinn. Sorry, I'm very tired, ladies and gentlemen. And just how epic and cinematic it was, and just to see Robin and Batman interact with each other.
The music in that game.
Yeah, like just that, like, because that's the game I just played before playing this, and I still, of course, I remember that.
See, but the thing is, I bet you still remember more classic moments than current gen moments.
Maybe.
I don't know what the...
But you know what? Who knows? Because maybe 20 years from now, I'll remember like the moments I'm playing now just as vividly as these moments.
Yeah, but you weren't forced to play Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect 2 for months on end until you got a new game.
No.
And I think that's just why we remember these things.
Yeah. Because we're stuck with them.
Well, and let's bring up something.
It's like a marriage.
Let's bring up something that's really important. The challenge of video games has really changed over years.
Yeah. I mean, I think a good example is like Dark Souls.
Oh God, Dark Souls.
That's like a perfect example of like what video games used to be like
for us. You know, because there was only like 4 or 5 levels in these games, and you could probably, if you were really good, beat them in like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But the point of it was to be good at the game, not just beat it. Remember that?
Yeah.
Go to school. It was like.
Well, for me, it was just to beat it.
Well, I'll beat you.
Okay.
But for me, in school, it was important that you were actually good at the games.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I beat that. And I think nowadays that's why I don't beat that many games.
Really?
Like I spend a lot of time with them for the reviews.
Yeah.
But like I
just beat them finally.
What?
Oh no!
You gotta get them still. But I mean, obviously, to be honest, it's kind of weird because obviously we review so many games that we can't always beat the games that we review. Like, how are we gonna beat
Skyrim?
Something like Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
And have a review out.
We did beat it after the review.
So yeah, my point is, I don't go back to those games after we review them to finish them always.
Yeah. I do though. Some of the ones that I really love.
See, I just feel different than how I felt when I was a kid about video games, because there was a fun challenge because it was simple. It was a simple, fun challenge.
But now they're complicated and you want to know the ending of the story. For me, anyways.
But here's why I think mobile gaming is so popular. Not because they're simple little games, but also there's a little challenge to them. And the point of the game is not to just finish the game, because once you beat the game on here, it's like, oh great, now I gotta get a new one. But most of the games are designed to replay and really get challenging and force you to play.
And taking advantage of upgrades, downloads, which
stuff like
these games couldn't, obviously.
Well, we could talk about the Sega Genesis channel. Did you have that?
No, I didn't. Maybe on the next episode.
I think
another date, because we're pressed for time.
We'll finish up next episode that we do. Not sure when it's going to come out.
Yeah, well, next episode of the series will be...
Probably, actually, we can probably confirm next week, midweek.
Probably.
Somewhere in there.
Probably. We're going to go E3 crazy, though.
Yeah, so watch out for the E3
Watch out for it. It'll
videos.
get you good.
Also, if you guys like this and you watch other retro shows, let them know. Share it to them. Say, hey, 3 Kilobytes is finally talking about retro stuff after 2.5 years on YouTube.
What a bunch of losers.
It took them so long. So thank you for watching, guys. We really appreciate everyone that's watching this series, and we really hope you guys like it because we like to do more. And if not, I think we're going to start to do what Guns for Hire does. He comes up with an idea, puts it out there, and if it doesn't do well, move on to the next.
Yeah.
So, again...
Like a virus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So we want this to do well so we can keep talking about it.
Yeah, and I want everyone to know that we're not this small. We're actually much bigger in person.
So we love you.
We don't fit in a little corner of a screen. Yeah, I love you. Thank you. Remember to like the video. Please subscribe.
Hey.
Hey, what?